Welcome back to my channel, everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to achieve this flawless foundation look, and I can guarantee that everybody will be complimenting your skin once you follow these steps. The number one compliment that I get from my clients is the skin, how beautiful their skin looks and how it doesn't look cakey, and that's because there's a proper way to apply your foundation and your concealer and your setting powder to give you that flawless look without looking cakey. The best compliment that anybody can get is on their skin, and I always get compliments on my skin, my clients get compliments on their skin, and you will get compliments too, because less is more. So I am going to show you how less is more. If you would like to see how to achieve a flawless foundation look, then keep on watching and I will show you how step by step. I have a bare face right now. The only thing that is done is my eye makeup. So the first thing that I like to do is kind of hydrate the face. So I'm going to take the MAC Fix Plus and just take it and spray it all over and let that sit for about probably 30 seconds. Once that is done, then I do like to moisturize the face. The product that I'm using is the Embryolisse Lait-Crème Concentré, and I love this for all of my clients. It's for all skin types. There's a misconception with oily skin. A lot of people that have oily skin don't like to moisturize their face, and that is the worst thing that you can do, because essentially you will produce more oil. It is a good thing to prep the face with moisturizer. If you are concerned about your skin being oily, then you can use a water-based moisturizer. You need that moisturizer, especially one with SPF if you're going to be out in the sun. Now, if you're not and you're just going to be taking photos, then you can use a regular moisturizer like this. The great thing about this is that it's a moisturizer and a primer in one. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little amount on my hand. And then I like to apply this to all of my clients with a foundation brush like this, and just take it and spread all over the face. And you especially want to make sure that you get your neck as well. Now, if I have a client that has very oily skin, I will also apply the Oil Control Lotion by MAC on top of that moisturizer. Also, if they do have enlarged pores, I will apply a primer. So for me today, I'm using the Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer in the Smoothing Primer. And I like to just take it and tap it wherever I have enlarged pores. You don't just want to rub it in, because then it's not really going to sink into those little spaces. You want to kind of tap it in those areas. I do have enlarged pores right here on my cheeks, on my nose as well, especially on the sides of my nose, and on my chin. So now my face is fully prepped for foundation and concealer. And I want to zoom in a little bit just so you all can see. Now, my hyperpigmentation and my scarring is getting better. I had a lot of acne in my cheeks. I still get it here, but not as bad. The reason why it is clearing up is because I've done retin-A treatments, which I am no longer on right now. Right now I am doing the hydroquinone treatments to help lighten my hyperpigmentation. It takes a little bit longer to get rid of that hyperpigmentation with the hydroquinone, but it is very effective. So I want to zoom in so you all can see. I do have hyperpigmentation right here on my cheeks. I do have some redness. I have broken capillaries here from where I had all that acne, and I would pick my face, which is something you don't want to do when you have acne or any kind of pimples. And I also have broken capillaries here and here as well. So my secret to making foundation looking flawless, not only on clients but on myself as well, is less is more. So the first thing I'm going to go in with is foundation, and I'm using the Estée Lauder Double Wear, and this is a great light to full coverage foundation. Depending on how you apply it, it can be applied lightly. So I love this because it's full coverage, it helps with oil control, and it really helps to cover up my hyperpigmentation. Now, how you apply this depends on you and what you like. On clients, I either apply with a brush or a beauty blender. It just really depends. So I'm going to take about 2 pumps on the back of my hand, and that will be enough for my full face, and I like to just tap it in sections on my face. So today I'm using a brush from Sedona Lace. I normally use my Sigma F80 brush, but this works just as well. And then I'm just going to buff this into my skin and bring it down the neck. And I'm buffing it in circular motions. So now this is with just one layer of foundation. I don't want to add more. That is when you are going to get the cakiness. I will show you right now what to do when you have scarring or hyperpigmentation. You don't want to keep adding foundation and adding foundation because it's just gonna look horrible. You're gonna look cakey, you're gonna emphasize fine lines and wrinkles. You're not gonna really get that coverage on the acne that you really, really want. So you wanna look flawless and not cakey and not overdone. So the next step that I'm going to do is concealer, and I'm using the Urban Decay Naked Skin, and I'm going to use this under my eyes. I like to apply it in like a V shape. Now I'm not doing that drag queen foundation with the contouring, nothing like that. That's mostly for full coverage makeup like that, for drag queens, for Cirque du Soleil, just for more theatrical purposes. That's not really for an everyday look. So I'm just going to take this and I'm bringing it down in a V shape and filling this in like so. And I'm doing the same thing to the other eye. Now I'm taking a dampened beauty blender and I barely dampen this. Now when I do my concealer, I either use this or I use a Sigma brush. I can't remember which number it is because it is dirty right now, but I'm just gonna go ahead and use this. And you wanna tap it lightly. And you don't want your sponge to be too wet, so just tap it, and you see how it's spreading really nicely. And I like the beauty blender because it does get into the inner corners of the eyes. And then I'm blending out around here, around the edges of that triangle, so it doesn't look funny. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing worse than having concealer that is not blended properly. So this eye is pretty much complete, and now this one I'll go ahead and blend as well. And then I am just blending out the outer edges. Now, since my acne is not really bad right now and the scarring has gone down significantly with the hydroquinone treatments, I'm going to take my Makeup Forever Full Coverage Concealer. This is where the magic happens. Like I said, don't keep adding piles and piles and piles of makeup. What I like to do, I think fingers are the best. And I use my fingers with clients as well. If not, I'll use the Beauty Blender. So today I'll just show you with my fingers. I take a little bit of this, and whatever concealer works for you for concealing your spots or whatever. I am in the color for this. This is shade number 7. And then for the Naked Skin, I'm in the shade medium light. However, I do like the neutral a lot better. But I'm using this to kind of highlight a little bit today. So I'm taking that Makeup Forever, I'm taking a little dab, and I do have hyperpigmentation kind of right here. So I'm just going to lightly tap that in that area where I need the coverage. And then I'm going to take my Beauty Blender, and around it, I'm just going to work it out. But I'm not tapping it right on the area that I'm having hyperpigmentation. I'm just kind of going around it to blend it into the foundation and that concealer I just applied. And there you are. Same thing with the other side. The pigmentation isn't as bad on this side, but I'm going to go ahead and tap it where I need that extra coverage. And then I'm going to take my Beauty Blender and go around the outer borders of where I applied it and just kind of blend it into everything else. Now that I have my full foundation and concealer on, I'm going to go ahead and set everything to lock it into place so it doesn't move and it lasts all day. Now you can use whatever setting powder that you're most comfortable with. Today I'm going to use my MAC Studio Fix foundation powder, and I really love this. However, you have to be careful with this that you don't apply too much, because then you're still going to get that cakey look. If you want something lighter, I would suggest the Rimmel Stay Matte if you have oily skin, or the Revlon powder, I forgot what it is. The Color Stay is really nice. The NARS Translucent Crystal Light Reflecting Powder. The Ben Nye powders are really great and they're very affordable as well. But today I'm going to use this, and I'm going to barely apply it. I'm not going to apply it that heavily because I don't want that cakey look. Now there's two ways to do this. Now you can either buff this into the skin and that's going to give you a really flawless airbrush look, or you can tap it into the skin as well. So what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to tap it because that's what I love to do on my face. So I'm just tapping it and I'm concentrating mostly in my T-zone. I'm going to be setting everything, but I am lightly just tapping this. And I'm not applying too much product because, like I said, this is going to make it a little bit more full coverage and I don't want a cakey look. I'm taking a smaller brush for under the eye area and I am just lightly tapping that under the eye and under the other eye as well. And that completes my flawless foundation routine. The last step is going to be a setting spray since I am oily. I'm going to be using the SKINDINAVIA Oil Control Primer Spray. This is really awesome if you have oily skin. I highly recommend it. I do have a discount code below. Check it out because you'll get 10% off plus 2 free minis. You can't go wrong. I switched from my Urban Decay All Nighter spray to this one and I really love it a lot. So, and when you apply your setting spray, this is totally different than the MAC Fix Plus. The Fix Plus has glycerin and it's really nice to take away that cake face if you've over powdered, or to apply before your moisturizer to just give some hydration back to your skin. However, this is not going to make your foundation last all day. So there's so many misconceptions to this. This is just going to help to pretty much hydrate the face and nourish it. Now the SKINDINAVIA setting spray is what's going to help lock everything in place and help it to last all day. And there's a proper way of applying this. I'm going to spray it first just to make sure that it's misting out correctly. You're going to spray it in an X and then straight down your face. So I'm going to do that now. And you just kind of let it sit and breathe. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful to you. Less is more. Now, like I said, when you are applying your foundation, it's great, especially if you have acne scarring or you have hyperpigmentation or you have broken capillaries. Apply your foundation first and then go back with concealer, because then you're not going to get that cake face, that too much foundation look, and people are going to compliment you on your skin. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.